Good morning again, everyone. I just posted a video on a visual metaphor for non-duality. Check it out. It's a short video, and I didn't think I was going to cut another one today, but I've been in the middle of writing a written blog post about some aspect of the whole awakening process, and it's on my mind. And so I thought, and I had the setup all going, so I decided to let me just talk about this a little bit. So we've talked about awakening before. I want to talk a little bit about clearing. What exactly it is that we're clearing up from. Well, when we wake up, we realize a couple of things. Maybe not all at once. Maybe multiple awakenings need to happen for the depth of the awakening to manifest itself here. But essentially, one of the things we wake up to is that the self, the ego, is an illusion. That there's no substance to our thought, our idea of me. That it's just an idea. But it's so strongly ingrained that it's a difficult one for people to recognize. And this is why, for many people, they're on a path that might be years in the making, or they might have spent years on a particular path. Why? Usually because we're suffering. And I've dealt with this before. Go back and look at the 4 Ignoble Truths video. Well, what is meant by clearing? Well, clearing means to see through your conditioned patterns. Well, what does that mean? Well, what are these conditioned patterns that we're talking about? The conditioned patterns that I'm talking about are those patterns that influence how we perceive and process information and interact with the world and others. The conditioned patterns are what constitute what we think of as a me. Who am I? We typically start with a name, and we have all the roles that we play or have played or are currently playing. We identify with political parties, we have religious affiliations, we have a set of friends, beliefs. So the conditioning are all those things. It's all the thought patterns, the energy patterns that surround us, so to speak. Well, they don't really surround us, but they're in a way embedded in our psyches. It's the conditioning itself that's not so important. It's the fact that we identify with those conditioned patterns. We think they are me. And that's the big one. You ask somebody a question, who are you? They'll introduce themselves. Hi, I'm Vincent. Are you really? What does it mean to be a Vincent? Or James? Or Bob? Or Mary? What does that mean? So what I wanted to sort of touch on a little bit is, in thinking about this, I see 3 levels of conditioning. 2 of them we really can't do anything about except to see through them. The first is our genetic conditioning. I was born with an XY set of chromosomes. So I was born a boy, and now a man. That's conditioning. I was born with a genetic predisposition to be a certain height, to struggle with my weight, to perhaps struggle with my blood sugar level. to have brown eyes, to have a receding hairline. Our genetic conditioning is part of our conditioning. And we identify with that conditioning because we grow up with it. I'm a short individual. I don't think I quite made it to 5'7". What can I do about it? Well, I certainly won't be an NBA player, right? Besides the fact that I used to trip over my feet back in gym in high school. Didn't help. But that's our genetic conditioning. But we don't have to attach ourselves to it. I don't have to care and suffer because I might be vertically challenged. It is what it is. So we loosen the bonds of our identification. This is what it is. Another level of conditioning that's actually even deeper than that is our epigenetic conditioning. Science has demonstrated some very interesting phenomena, which is the experiences of our ancestors actually get genetically coded. So the experiences of your parents and your great-parents, grandparents and your great-grandparents, and I don't know how far back they've been able to trace the lineage or how strong those influences are. But apparently they get encoded into the biological DNA and get expressed. Over here, anxiety. My mother was an anxious person, still is, she's alive. My grandmother, her mom, was an anxious person. I wonder if her mom was an anxious person. Now, some of that might be learned, but some of it is genetic. Who knows what their experiences were? I don't. I don't really know what their experiences were. So that's our epigenetic conditioning. Again, the best we can do is see it. You see through it. When anxiety arises, you just look at it. You don't identify, I'm anxious. That's the mistake, is to say, I am anxious. No, who's the I that's anxious? Well, you think it's the me. See? It's a circular, it's a vicious cycle. I'm anxious. Who's the me that's anxious? Well, who's anxious? It's me. Well, who's the me? Remember, in awakening, you realize the me doesn't exist, it's just an idea. The belief that there's someone that's anxious. But again, you do not have to identify with the anxiety. You just look at it. And when you see it, what's interesting is when you really pay attention and see through it, it goes away. It doesn't mean it might not rear up again. But again, you don't have to suffer. And here, the you that I'm saying you don't have to suffer is you, the true nature. You as awareness, or as awakeness, as a living, awake being that you are, does not have to suffer by identifying with a specific conditioned pattern. The third level of conditioning really are your memories. Because all of what constitutes who you are, when you really think about it, comes from your memories. Imagine you get hit over the head. A few years ago, I had what could have been a pretty horrific bicycle accident. To this day, I have no memory of the event. I went over my handlebars. I have no idea how my bike ended up stopping dead in its tracks. In retrospect, I looked around later at the scene. I did not understand what had happened, how it was even possible to have happened, but it happened. And I went over the handlebars of my bicycle, and then landed on my head. Yeah, I know. You're thinking, well, no wonder why you're so screwed up, huh? I know. Fortunately, I was wearing a helmet. Saved my life. Cracked my vertebrae right up there. Lost partial use of my arm. Everything's back, by the way. So completely healthy. I'm healthier now than I was before the accident. Point is, let's suppose you have an accident like that. Let's suppose my memory never came back. You've seen movies made about this. You've seen TV shows made about this. Something happens. Who am I? I don't remember who I am. And then the struggle is to remember who they are. But that's the point I'm trying to make, is because when their memories come back, now they have something to identify with. Now they know who they are. Oh, my name is Vincent. Oh, that's who I am. And I'm a college professor. Oh, that's who I am. And I live at this address. Oh, that's who I am. And my parents were named Vincent and Harriet. And that's who I am. And I have two brothers, Roy and Larry. Oh, that's who I am. And I'm married to Janine. And that's who I am. And so on and so forth. And my dogs. And on, you reconstruct the story of you. You reconstruct the story of you. And you think that is you, that your memories. They had to say their piece, so I'll let them say their piece. Hold on a second, guys. We are, well, who we think we are, is really the sum total of our memories. So this third level of conditioning that I'm talking about are our memories. What is this conditioning? Our memories. Now the memories aren't necessarily bad. It's good to have memories. It's good to know the people that you live with, that you recognize them, and your family and so forth. But is it a requirement? Without memories, isn't there still awareness? Think about that for a moment. You're this person with amnesia. And you can't remember anything about yourself. You might think it's a bad thing, but is it really? Do you exist separately from those memories? I mean, it's not the way I really want to phrase this. Let me ask it a different way. In order for you to exist, must you have those memories? The fact that you even have an idea that you don't remember who you are says that there's some level of awareness here that might be fundamental, more fundamental than the memories that you're searching for, or have if you don't have amnesia. So, and let's suppose you're that person with amnesia. Those epigenetic and genetic conditioning patterns might still be there. Excuse me, maybe not. Because typically, if you have amnesia, stuff that's kind of genetically encoded, that doesn't necessarily go away. Probably doesn't go away. What's missing? What's missing are the memories, the specifics, the details. And what's really interesting, by the way, about memory is researchers have learned that our memories are fallible. We actually reconstruct memories. Our memories are not perfect. We don't have a video recording of our lives moment by moment by moment that we can go back and access exactly as it was. We tend to remember the gestalt of things, but we fill in the details later, and memories can be really, really wrong. For example, like eyewitness testimony has been found to be extremely wrong and can be influenced by other things. That's another point for another day. The point is this level of conditioning. What is this conditioning? Your memories. Your memories are your conditioning. So this clearing process that I talked about is to see through the conditioning. Sure, I have memories of my life with my family and growing up in a particular household, in a particular place, at a particular time. The difference between identifying with those and not identifying with those is freedom. They're there. Some of them pleasant, some of them not so pleasant. But that's not who I am. That's not who you are. It's when you hold on to them as what defines you, that's when you suffer. That's when you put yourself in a container or a box and limit yourself to what you think you are. And it doesn't mean the memories disappear, although I know of instances of people who after awakening show some memory loss. Usually it's more of a short-term basis, and it's not really a memory loss. It's that there's no holding on to anything. And so you're so living as the moment because you are the moment. In fact, there's only one moment, and you're it. The moment never changes. The moment never changes. This moment, this moment, this moment never changes. What does change? Only appearances. What appears to happen is what changes. And so sometimes with awakening, you're so completely in the moment, I mean, that there's no attachment to, there's no need to store information. Freedom is complete. Now, for most people who have experienced it, memories come back typically. But then there's a difference, because now there's probably a lack of or minimal identification with the memories. Sure, it might be important for me to remember a couple of chores I have to run later this afternoon. If I forget them, well, then I forget them. That's not the point I'm really trying to make here. The point I'm really trying to make is who you think you are is the sum total of your memories. And memories, by the way, don't exist except as ideas. Can you point to a memory right now? Can you locate a memory? No. They're elusive. Even neuroscientists can't find memories. Say, oh, they're in my brain somewhere. They haven't been able to find memories. The engram, as it's called. Where's the engram for specific memory? Can't find them. And even if they were somehow neurally coded specifically, is that who you are? So conditioning, your conditioning, are your memories. And to see through your conditioning essentially is to de-identify with your memories. You say get rid of them. Just stop identifying with them. Just stop identifying with your memories. Sure, you can refer back to them when you need to. And if you're sitting around with your family telling stories, it always helps to have memories. So you can share the stories. It kind of helps create and facilitate the bonds amongst people. But when that's over, you drop them. They're not you. They don't have to be you. Well, I think that's all I needed to say. So until the next time, thank you for listening.